Good day and welcome to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas. Glad you're joining us today as we get equipped, educated, empowered, and elevated to make a difference where we are. So important that we take knowledge, information, and perspective and help our communities to be better so we're stronger in one global world. We're going to start within the news. A staggering, alarming outbreak of the measles is what the Power Up production team wants to make to highlight today. The measles death globally have spiked more than 40% since last year, and cases after the vaccination levels drastically dropped during the pandemic are reflecting an alarming rate. This high infectious disease triggered so many epidemics across 37 countries, which is an increase from the 22 countries in 2021. Both the World Health Organization and the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention elevate this alarm because the number of measles cases is now nearly 20%, and vaccinations are necessary. The CDC alarms executives and leaderships elevate this because what individuals forget is that 2 doses of measles vaccine are highly protective and can help especially those impacted children. Children in developing countries such as South Africa, Southern Asia, Latin America are at the highest risks, even in India. So why is this important? Well, it's also impacts the United States of America. Measles is amongst the most infectious disease known and spreads in the air when individuals cough and sneeze. Sounds like the pandemic we just made it through, right? Maybe the flu season that we're currently in. Well, it's most common to affect children under 5, and the common symptoms include fever, cough, runny nose, and even a distinctive rash. So if those sound like other symptoms, it's important for you to see a healthcare professional. We need to elevate this because measles outbreaks sadly lead to death often. Because due to complications like emphysema and dehydration, serious breathing issues, even pneumonia, complications are most likely to impact young children and adults over 30. Family, we just need you to be aware, educated, so that you can share the information and be aware and make sure your families are aware, your neighbors, your communities. Also, another food safety alert has elevated the outbreak shared by the CDC. Family, we need you to pay attention to the cantaloupe and fruits that you might be eating, especially those that are pre-packaged. Make sure that you're aware there were whole cantaloupes that came from different areas in Mexico and that have been prepackaged, and they're being sold in quick trips, in gas stations, in racetracks, in a lot of stop and shops, in many of the Kroger's, Sprouts, farmers markets, Trader Joe's, and even Aldi's. You need to know cantaloupe is a subject to salmonella. So make sure you check your labels. Make sure that you know that if the dates were between October 28th and November the 8th, when they were pre-packaged and sold, that you want to return those to your grocers. If your family consumed them and you noticed issues, talk to your healthcare professional. Otherwise, knowledge is power. It's about being safe, making sure that the babies, we eat fruit in my house and we do smoothies, honey. So cantaloupe is always in my refrigerator. Those melons, it's important. Make sure that you go to the cdc.gov to get information on the outbreak of salmonella, also on the measles outbreak. on how you can be safe, healthy, and live a happy life. They're a resource and advocate, and we saw them step into leadership as they were the front line for our defense with COVID-19 pandemic. Their work didn't stop. The work doesn't stop. Amongst many of the resources, including flu information, even winter safety tips, is definitely more about the vaccinations with salmonella and the information on your food safety. At least be aware. What you do with the information is ultimately up to you, but you do have the power to make a difference where you are. Family, we hope this information has been helpful. We thank our production team for making sure to elevate information that can impact us around the globe. But there's so much more information coming. Oh, the Power Up is going to be full of power today. Don't go anywhere. We have an amazing guest that's going to join us and respond to a viewer question. Stay tuned. There's more after this.
What's up, family? It's your girl, Terry Y. Hicks of the amazing Fab Five, and I am here to tell you to tune into the Empowerment Morning Show Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the WIN Network. What's up, family? It's your girl, Terry Y. Hicks, and I am here to invite you to join me every Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Midday Miracles and Manna, right here on We Empower Network.
Welcome back, family, to the Power Up. We're going to take a moment now and respond to a viewer question and bring an expert in, someone with a global reach that can help not just respond, but empower us all. The Power Up team is so glad to welcome to our platform today, Miss Chiquita Rhodes. Chiquita, who is based in the Atlanta area, is an actress and empowerment speaker. She's also the CEO of BBJ Lifestyle, Beauty, Brains, and Jesus. I love it. To inspire and build communities and impact hearts and lives everywhere. Chiquita, welcome to the Power Up.
Thank you so much. It is such an honor. I am delighted to be here with Power Up. We are ready to power up. It's 2024, and we are ready to take the journey. I am so elated to be here. Thank you so much, Tami, for having me.
Absolutely. Let's jump right into it. This interview is something I've personally been looking forward to.
Yes.
We received an inquiry from a viewer of the Power Up that says, I feel stuck. I can't move forward and don't know where to start.
Yes.
Help! Exclamation point. I elevate this question because this is one of the things that you drive on a daily basis,
Yes.
helping people figure out their next steps, goal setting, even inspiring and motivating to move forward. So as you respond to our viewers' questions, share your insight.
Absolutely. You know, that is an amazing question. It's a question that all of us, right, at some point in our lives have had to ask, right? We've all been a place where we've been stuck. I have experienced being stuck. And so I want to give you some tips on how to get unstuck. Number one, I believe the foundation of anything starts with your your faith. The faith is a foundation to get anything moving. So my first step would be to pray. I always believe in praying first. The second thing I would say is to write. And I think people don't understand how writing unlocks unstuckness, if that's a word, right? Because writing is power. Nothing has power until it is written. So a lot of times when you're able to take the thoughts in your heart and your mind and write them out on paper, I like to call it a brain dump. So what I do is I take everything in here and I get it out and I write it on paper. I always say this: an author does not become an author until it is written on paper. They can have a book in their head, but until you write it, it has no power. So always write, no matter what it is. Okay. The third thing is, I would say, is get coaching. Okay. We need coaching for everything in our lives. Myself, I have coaches for every aspect of my life, whether it's financial, in my finances, in my acting, any area of your life. You want to get a coach wherever you're stuck, because you need someone with a different perspective and with insight to feed into your perspective, and sometimes to open up your horizons, open up your imagination, and just kind of give you direction into the right path. So the first one was pray, write, get a coach. And then the last thing I would say, exposure. It is so crucial to get unstuck that you must surround yourself in an environment and an atmosphere where people that are obtaining things that you want to obtain, or they're living out what you want to live out. Exposure expands so much. It creates opportunity. It also gives you another form of insight. Exposure is crucial to getting unstuck, because you're now taking yourself and putting yourself in a different environment. Go to the networking events, go on Eventbrite and find an event that's tailored to what you're looking to do, what you want to become. Even if you don't know, just get out there, just get exposure. You will be surprised what networking and changing your atmosphere will do. It'll spark something in you. So that will be my solution to getting unstuck. Number one is pray. Number two is write. Number three is get coaching. And number four is exposure.
I told you we bring the best to this show. Thank you so much for your
Yes.
tips. We're going to dive deeper into
Yes,
that.
let's go deep.
Because there's one thing to say, this is what you should do. What I would ask you to do, if you could, share the how. Help them leave with a tangible thing, an action step, like
Yes.
you did with the networking, looking on Eventbrite to go to those events. We're
Yes.
talking to folks who may be introverts and might
Yes.
not go out. Those who are extroverts and staying inside since the pandemic is just driving
Mhm.
them crazy. What would you say is a how, a takeaway?
So with my how, I have a system what I call the 4 P's to success. It's pray, plan, pursue, and prosper. But in that process, and the second P is plan. This is where the how comes to fruition, right? And what I mean by the how is the first step. When I said write, you literally, you would be surprised how some of the simplest steps actually unfolds, right? So just taking your pen and your paper and sitting down for 20 minutes, 10 minutes, and doing that brain dump and writing it out. That's a how step. That's a how moment, right? Because it's unleashing what's inside and forcing it to come out. The second thing, when we want to talk about how, right? Research. We have Google at the fingertips. Google is accessible to anybody, introvert or extrovert. You can Google just about anything you need. If you want to Google, the best coach, or if you want to Google, even how-to books, or a book related to something that you're trying to do or that you want to do or want to accomplish, you can Google a book, many different books on that topic, and that will kind of help you in your how process, so that you have something tangible to read, something tangible to look at. Certain things, like it's little small things that you can do that you can execute your how, and you not necessarily have to spend a whole lot of money. You may not necessarily have to go out and to big crowds. It starts with just one little thing at a time, right where you are, right with the resources that you have in your house, on your laptop, on your fingertips, on your phone. It starts right there. And how about this? How about even a how is, if you're on Instagram or social media and you see something on there or a page that pertains to something you're trying to do, reach out, send a quick DM, send a message. You just never know. You might get a response back. So the how is very simple. It's just taking the small steps to take action steps to executing that plan. And those little small moments and those little small things that you do, it actually adds up to the bigger picture. So that's my suggestions on the how process.
But you make great points. Small
Mhm.
steps can
Mhm.
make a difference. I think oftentimes individuals see people who are successful like yourself and think you got there overnight, or this all in as glamorous and fabulous as you look, she just is like that 24/7. Now, I'm not saying you're not, but there are folks who just think that as they see the tip of the iceberg, that there's nothing under the water that's holding that afloat that you built. So what would you say for individuals who might just be in a place where maybe life has just beat them down so much, or they're dealing with a hardship or an issue, and just need help moving forward?
Yes. So anyone, and I've been at that place where you feel like you're oppressed or you're depressed. You feel like you're sunken in. Number one, I'm going to go back to my faith. I'm going to go back to my spiritual grounding. I think it's so important to feed your eye gates and your ear gates. Okay. When you're at a low moment, you will be surprised that your eye gates and your ear gates, they feed your spirit and your soul. So you have to be very careful what you're watching and what you're listening to. And sometimes you have to create a boundary. You got to set up a limitation to what you're going to watch and what you're going to hear, because your hearing and your eyes actually feed your mind. They feed your mental, and they feed your spirit, and they feed your soul. So when you're in that sunken place, I would say the first step is turn on a podcast and that motivates you, that encourages you, or turn on a YouTube, find a YouTube message. And I like to use these simple things because they're at the fingertips of everyone, right? So if you can feed your eye gates, if you can watch a movie that inspires you, like one of the movies that I love to look at it was a movie with Will Smith. Oh my God, what was the name of it? Oh, The Pursuit of Happiness. I love that movie because it motivates me that even in the hard times that I can keep going, that if this person can do it, then I can do it. The word of God says we overcome by the word of our testimonies. So even listening to other people who were in the same position that you were in, and then hear their stories of how they overcome, you would be surprised how much it will motivate you and encourage you inwardly to get up and make those moves. So just start with focusing on what you're watching and what you're listening to, and cut out all negativity. Cut out sometimes social media. You got to put that to the side, because social media can sometimes really, I know personally that I have to fast from social media every month, because social media can really feed you the spirit of fear and rejection and make you feel like you're in competition or you're not good enough. And those things you do want to block and limit in your life. So just guard your eye gates and your ear gates, and just focus on one message at a time that will bring you hope and encouragement and inspiration.
Okay, so connections, internal building, finding information,
Yes.
new practices, and making it intentional. You're a success on many different levels. I know your bio and have watched your story. I'm honored to call you a sister on many professional levels. See, because as it's one thing to be a powerful woman, it's another to take on a business and decide you're going to make a living from this energy. Um, what would you recommend for folks that maybe think there might be a platform or something out there that they can use to take what's inside of them to another level?
Yes, so I would suggest to anyone, if you believe you have something on the inside, I always say when passion meets purpose, right? If you have a passion of something inside of you, it gives you, it's a segue into purpose, right? So you take that moment. So for example, I'll tell you, I'm into health, right? Health and fitness. Becoming more healthy. I love juicing. I was just doing it for the fun of it, just for the health of it, just for myself, for my friends. But because of that and their response to it, it was like they were like, you need to do this as a business. You need to launch. You do so good. And I try to do it, but I can't do it like you do it. So I start with where I'm at. I start with what I have. And I said, okay, you know what? I'll take it one step at a time. I will take what I have, the gift of juicing, and just begin to share that with people who enjoy it. You will be surprised how that will motivate you and encourage you, and how that's just a step forward to what you're trying to do, to what you want to do, and to what's inside of you. So start right with your community. Start with where you are. Take what you have, try it with one person, and see how what their experience is. Then try it with the next person, see what their experience is. Remember, success is built over time. It's built, greatness is built over time. It's built one brick at a time. So you don't have to look at everybody and say, oh, I don't have the millions of followers. Oh, I don't have this. No, it's one person at a time. And I will say this, I started where I've gotten to where I am with the keyword serving. You will be amazed at serving someone else's vision who is doing what you want to do. And sometimes serving means doing it for free, but you will be surprised how serving will open doors for you and open up your territory and open up that opportunity to do what's inside of you to do, because it literally opens the platform for you. So by me speaking to someone on their platform and not asking for anything, just wanting to share my gifts, that opens up another gift for another platform, or something else you may want to do. So serve people. If there's a talk show you want to go on, ask them, how can I volunteer? You will be surprised how serving your gifts and your passions to another human being will open up gifts and a platform for you to serve. So that is my tip. And that's the information, and that's the coaching and the feedback that I will give to someone who's looking for that platform in any arena. It doesn't matter. It works for all arenas.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Success is not a destination, it's a journey. You
Yes.
don't have to get to a point where you hit success, I arrive, put your hat down, coat down, and puff a tent, and then you forget all that life has in front of you that's waiting, even at the next level. If you think you somewhere now, baby, hold on, because there's so much more in you, potential, and in front of you.
Yeah.
One of the things that I appreciate is your humility. When you speak to someone who's an actress who works with Tyler Perry and big names individuals who work with celebrities on other levels, when you speak to someone who is shoulder to shoulder with folks that we think somebody, you kind of expect the arrogance. You expect so much that has the looking down. I don't know, because you have that money, you think you are. One of the things I've always appreciated is your humility, your meekness, and your servanthood. How does that work in the climb to success?
Woo. I'll tell you this. I always say this. I just ministered to a young girl at my church this past week, and I always say this: humility wins battles. I don't care what platform you're on. I don't care if you're at the top of your mountain. I don't care if I'm in Hollywood. I don't care if I'm in corporate America. And I've had to use humility to win a battle with a difficult management or a difficult manager or difficult leadership. I've had to literally humble myself, bite my tongue, and I've had to realize that sometimes the higher road is being quiet and being submissive, which a lot of people may not think that works, but it works. Humility wins battles, because I do believe in a biblical scripture that says God will exalt the humble. And so you can only go as far as you're willing to treat the lowest of the person that you know. And so my belief is that when you build such good character, when you have character of the heart, when you build and work on humility, which is a strength, it is not a weakness, it is a strength, because you have to do what culture normally says do. You have to do the opposite of what culture says do, which in culture is a clap back. Everybody say, I want to clap back. You can't clap back all the time. Sometimes you have to be wise in your standards, wise in your stance, and you have to use humility. So I just believe that's one of the principles I use. Humility wins battles. So I take the humility approach, because I know in the long and in the end, people are going to identify who you are through what you, not necessarily what you say, but what you don't say. So that would be my feedback.
I heard it said years ago, people may not know what you say when they leave you, but they'll know how you made them feel.
Yes.
And that a millionaire shared. I remembered reading Zig Ziglar's statement, years ago when he said, I built my millionaire business because I found a need that others had and wrapped my business around the need. So I already see your juicing business going off the hook with we just shared outbreaks and health issues. We talk about regularly on this show how we can be the better us to make sure that we can be better to others around us. So I want to thank you for all that you're doing in business. Tell me, all the big screens, little screens, off Broadway, big plays, church plays, all of them. You've done every gamut. Tell me what the latest play is and how folks can see it.
Yeah, so I'm currently, there's a Valentine's edition here in Atlanta, Georgia at the Black Wall Street. It's a comedy stage play. It's called Why Am I Still Single? It is hilarious. It has some of all different types of characters in there, but it's a great story and just really truly shares, why different people are single for different reasons. And so there's two best friends that try to bring their friends together to unite and find someone that they're compatible with. Relationships is currency. So I love the play because number one, it's comedy. I get to, use my gift of acting. But also I'm a big believer of relationships. Relationships are so crucial, and friendships, business ships, partnerships, all kinds of ships. So it is a great play. You can go on Eventbrite to get your ticket, or you can go and follow on Instagram or Facebook, Why Am I Still Single stage play. So yes, that is a play you definitely would love to come see. Come laugh, bring your friends. I tell people, bring your boo thing, whatever you have. And just have a good time. But that is the latest stage play that I'm in. I also have some other shows and movies that I'm producing and working on. So God is amazing. And I'm excited for 2024, writing my first script. And I'm looking forward to filming that as well, which is a movie about relationships.
Listen, the sky is the limit with Miss Chiquita Rhodes. I know. I want to go back, besides the amazingness of everything that you're touching, going back to our viewer question. Mm-hmm. I'm stuck. I don't know how to start. Help! Exclamation point. And I want to first thank the viewer for feeling like you had a safe space to submit that question. We share these questions anonymously because just because one person said it doesn't mean a million weren't thinking it. Life can be hard at times. So I would, to the empowerment speaker in you, the one who sees in people the power, what would you share for those who are hurting and how they can consider moving forward?
Yes. Ooh. The first thing I want to say is that I believe by experience, pain is purpose. You can turn that pain into purpose. As a matter of fact, I want to say to you, if you are in pain, that the pain that you're experiencing is tied to your destiny. It's tied to your purpose, because truly sometimes you can't speak to certain things, and you can't help a whole nother generation or a whole nother culture of people sometimes without going through the pain of yourself. So likewise, like myself, I've been through pain, I've been through hurt, I've been through rejection, I've dealt with so much rejection. And what I've had to do is, number one, realize who I am. And that requires me going back to my creator. Requires me going back to God and reading about who I am as a person, who I am as an individual. You will find so much hope in knowing who you are and who you belong to. There's so much identity tied into that. And I think sometimes that pain, when you begin to discover who you are, it kind of draws out that pain. It pulls you out from that place, and you can begin to take those necessary steps to come out or to come forth from where you are. But remember, pain is temporary. It is not long term. It is a moment. It is a season. And you can get through it, and you will go through it, and you will come out on top, and you will use that pain to help somebody else. If you've been hurt or abused in a relationship, guess what? There's somebody, when you walk down the aisle at the grocery store, they're experiencing that same pain. Your words and your experience you will be able to speak life to that person and encourage them that you too went through that and they can come out and come through it and overcome it. So remember that your pain is not in vain. There is purpose in that pain. You will come forth, you will come out, and you will take that pain and make it into your passion, and it will become your purpose, and it will be impactful. So you don't have to stay stuck there. It's just a moment. And I'll say this, I'll give you a personal testimony. I remember when I went through this horrible breakup, and I was in this relationship for 8 years, and I thought this was the person that I was going to marry, and it hurt so bad. And the things that I found out. And I thank God, because one of the things that spoke to me was to deal with the root of why I entered in even into that relationship, or why I allowed things to happen. And it started with a letter. Once again, writing, y'all. Writing is powerful. I wrote a 4-page letter to my father, and it brought so much healing to me, and it had me move forward in the position in the area in which I was going, the direction which I was taking. So just writing that letter, releasing that hurt, releasing that pain to my father, allowed me so much openness. It opened up so much in me. It brought so much healing. So I would say, pray, sit down, write, and just remember that this pain is going to turn into something great. It's going to turn into something purposeful and meaningful.
I don't have a mic to drop, but I'm grateful because you didn't just pour into our viewer, you poured into me. And so many that are listening that might hear this on the rewind or watch the YouTube later. Thank you for doing what you do globally, for being someone who feels selfless in your life. We appreciate you here at the Power Up and look forward to having you back.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, bbjlifestyles.com, and you can reach out to Chiquita Rhodes on social media platforms. Stay tuned. There's more after this. Hey family, it's Tami, your empowerment coach, with this elevation moment. As you move forward with the new opportunities in front of you, consider taking this moment for a year in review. Consider celebrating your wins and assessing those moments where you can improve from failures or falls. Right? We're human, so we're subject to all the things of life, distractions, disappointments, making the wrong judgment call, saying something we regret. But we don't stay there. We take the opportunity to learn from it so that we can be better. Think about what you can do to shift, to change, to upgrade. And as you move forward in this new opportunity, this new season, all that's in front of you, remember, it's all meant to build you. So go be great. Welcome back to the Power Up. What a powerful segment thus far. We're not over yet. We want to share vital information to elevate poverty awareness. So important that we take tips from our last guest and be selfless in how we serve and care for this human race. Remember, our skin might be different, voices might be different, hair may be different, upbringing, education, background, but we're all human beings and need each other. So during this moment, this segment, we want to elevate poverty. Make sure that you understand it's real. It's not just a matter of seeing someone on the street walking past them. No, it's knowing how you can help. Remember, here we equip you and elevate you to make a difference. So, as education, I want to share that there are official poverty rates that have increased since the pandemic. Since 2022, there's been an 11.5% across the United States increase in poverty. Do you know that that's millions of people? The rate has certainly increased in the Black community just through 2021 and 2022. But while the census is taking time to highlight numbers, we want to talk about the impact. Tami, why is this important for me to know? Well, communities make a difference. Your housing market, your grocery stores, what new businesses come into your area, how you might see development and improvement. That's one of the reasons why civic associations are so important, and you can join. That's a reason why voting is so important. There are laws on the ballot that affect you locally. Everything from where to put cameras in school zones to where to put brand new stoplights all impact you. Poverty does just the same thing. If there are kid services that are needed in the local schools, because there's an increase in evictions, for example, it's important that you not only remain aware, but figure out how to help. So we're coming with some information for you. Thank you for asking. There are things that you can do. First of all, advocating for good health care, sustainable equity in health care. Dr. King said a statement. He said, the worst injustice to humanity is the lack of equitable health care. That means everybody should be treated the same no matter where they are. The sad reality, it's not equal. You can make a difference by advocating, making sure that individuals know that health care for everyone should be a right. Also, consider what you can do to help with healthy food sustainability. Folks who live in impoverished communities don't have the best of the best in grocery stores. One of the reasons that you'll notice there are a lot of corner stores in the hood than there are big grocery stores in other areas. One of the reasons we have to be the ones to make a difference. Clean water is such a valuable necessity, but do you know it's not everywhere? And it's certainly not available to all. That's one of the reasons the global platform that we have here at the Power Up speaks to our brothers and sisters in Sudan, in Southern Africa, and other countries where they're celebrating anytime a water well is built, just to be able to, in their village, which is equal to one of our towns, can have fresh, clean water. You want to know what to do? Give your time, elevate your voice, find ways to donate to different entities that are focused on global approach. And if global is too big for you, it's okay. Do what you can do where you are. Education is certainly a priority, but do you know it's not equal everywhere? There are some school systems that have outdated books, and some lack teachers. They lack the staff to be able to sufficiently teach. Yet, we have expectations and hopes for the best jobs in the land so that we can live in the biggest house and have the best car. But do you know it starts with the babies? We all have teachers we remember. good and bad. But do you know that you have the ability to coach, to mentor, start youth groups? Come on and start some way you can gather the youth in your community and be that next level of support. So with healthcare, education, food sanity, sustainability, even clean water. I read a story of a wonderful young lady who turned her apartment balcony into a farm. She started growing more plants, more fruits and vegetables on her balcony than you could ever find in a grocery store. Balcony of an apartment. But let me tell you what she did. She started this during the pandemic when she lost her job. She started taking her food to local markets, farmers markets, different churches, places where the folks need fresh food that they might not get or be able to afford with the cost of inflation. Come on, somebody. So she found a way to make an impact and sustain and meet her needs. She studied up on farming requirements, made sure she was a legal business owner, which I'll tell you doesn't take much to start an LLC, and found a way to then impact the world. What are you doing? Poverty is real. And I will tell you this, the poverty threshold continues to move. Used to be that if you just made six figures and hit that $100,000 mark, you good, the middle class. Well, due to inflation, that has increased. You now, by the United States Census, must be closer to the $200,000 mark to be someone who can sustain a decent living, have savings for hardship, and still be able to enjoy the pluses of life. Come on, family. You know all the stuff we dream about doing. Here's a thought. Help somebody else along the way. Tap into your gifts so that we can all decrease that number of poverty, that rate of poverty in our neighborhoods. Do you know that there's neighbors that are poor around you that live in their cars? Maybe in hotels, some of the poorest motels in the area, because they're working. But one family I'm aware of, the dad passed, the mom is on her own. They have 5 kids. She's got a job. So for someone who says pull yourself up by your bootstraps, she's working. She's working hard every day. And yet doesn't have enough money to pay the high rents, pay for the high cost of food, and cover 5 children, which was the dream of her husband, to have a big family. Come on, some of y'all have that same dream. So let's not be in a place of judgment. This segment is meant to elevate our knowledge, elevate our hearts and our consciousness to be the difference. Not wait for somebody else to do it. See, Chiquita Rhodes is amazing. There's a Chiquita Rhodes that's watching. There's 20 more Chiquita Rhodes in the neighborhood, and there's another generation of them to come. But that doesn't allow you to not move because there's others doing it. What we would hope you would do is figure out the how. How can I make a difference? Maybe donate to the Red Cross. Contact the World Health Organization and see how your money can help build a well in Sudan. Consider tapping into other resources we share regularly on this platform, that where you can also use it as a tax write-off. So it's a win-win. Family, what we need you to do is be empowered and equipped. Get up, move something, and start today. Here's what Grandma used to say: but by the grace of God, there go I. In other words, be careful judging, throwing stones at people, thinking different about poverty. Oh, well, that's not me. I don't care about that. Because, honey, it could be you. And if not you, think about those around you. We'll end with this. We often forget we all come from somewhere, but we've got a long way to go. And we live each day not knowing where the journey's going to end. Remember, we're on a successful life path, but everybody's success looks different. If you could make the difference in one life, wouldn't you do that? Well, I got news for you. You can make the difference in hundreds, millions. You just have to start today. And when in doubt, get the resources, tap into a coach, a mentor, and come on. And let's power up and be great together. Family, we hope we educated you on your impact to poverty, on the fact that it's real and important. Because whether you're a homeless neighbor, especially in these winter cold months, or whether you're a neighbor who has the ability to be housed, we all matter. Take this information and come on and go be great. Family, stay tuned. We're going to go right into a commercial, but there's more after this.
Hi, guys. It's Tina Wynn, your host of the podcast, You See Me. I want you guys to stay encouraged, continue to come out and see me, and most importantly, see yourselves. Remember, the only way that you can truly enjoy life is to see other people so that you can enjoy the beauty of seeing yourself. Come join me Saturdays at 4 on the We Empowered Network. Thank you.
Hey everybody, this is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner on Empowered Mornings. We'd like to invite you every Wednesday night, 8 p.m., uniquely and gorgeous, to keep your mind locked and loaded on WIN Network.
Welcome back to the Power Up. We promised an amazing show. Hope we delivered for you. I want to thank the producers of the We Empower Network who feel this global touch is too important, that we prioritize this information that touches everyone, no matter where you are. We started today with In the News, elevating the alarm by the Red Cross. The American Red Cross highlighted two key issues. I apologize. Elevating by not just the Red Cross, but also the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, both viable entities who feel the need to elevate alarms that we're seeing not just in the United States, but globally. Today, we elevated the measles outbreak that's happening across an increased number of countries, including the United States of America. Make sure that you know about vaccines in your area, the impact of measles on the children and the seniors. Remembering measles is airborne. You can't see it and know that person has it. So you want to be as protected as possible. Also, elevating food safety alarm today on the outbreak of salmonella amongst cantaloupe. We need to make sure that we're aware of what we consume. So if within those dates you went to any of the places that we highlighted, make sure that you read your labels. You know when that fruit was packaged. And no, we don't walk in fear. We walk educated. So cantaloupe is still very nutritious. It is a viable fruit that can help your immune system and has a high content of water. The difference is when it's packaged in an unhealthy way. That's why the CDC took time to elevate the outbreak of salmonella, so you're aware. You can get more information on the measles outbreak and food safety by going to cdc.gov. Then we were joined by the powerhouse, Miss Chiquita Rhodes. Wow. I'm going to watch the rewind on this show just so I can get more of her. How she poured into and responded to one of our viewer inquiries on being stuck. How she says, getting out of unstuckness. I love it because the best thing is that it's possible. You don't have to stay where you are. Oh, there's so much more and greater waiting for you. You just have to start. We appreciate Ms. Rhodes for joining us, for sharing her advocacy, for pouring her empowerment and motivation, and for reminding us that your hurt can turn into a passion and ultimately your purpose. How just because you're going through it doesn't mean that's the end. It's not meant to beat you down. It's meant to educate you because there's someone else that's going to be in a similar situation and needs you to say, you know, I went through that. Let me tell you some of what I learned. Come on, family. It's all about how we can use our influence. As Chiquita said, stop looking for the million followers and just focus on the one at a time. Oh, she was amazing. Feel free to touch base with her on all social media platforms and go to her website, bbjlifestyle.com. She will be back, has already confirmed that she's coming shortly in a few months, and I'm excited to have her regularly as one of those pouring in to our motivation moment. We then moved in to elevate everyone on poverty awareness, that everyone isn't in the same financial bracket in life, and that's okay. It's not about those on top of the hall being better than those who need the most. It's about us finding a way to bridge the gap, to bridge the gaps and make a difference. The gap of healthcare, the gap in education, the gap in food sustainability, because disparities should not be the end. We're all equal. How about we help each other? And you have the power to do that. We want to also end this wrap up by reminding you how important it is that as you're moving forward, as you're starting to put one foot in front of the other, as you move, clarity happens in the movement. I love working with my analytical folks who need to see every I dotted and T crossed before they start. I love the power and the gifts that they have to be able to connect dots. But oftentimes, the clarity comes in the storm. Oftentimes, as you put one foot in front of the other, you learn this path isn't working for me. Let me try this. Maybe I'm in a place where now I need to talk to a financial advisor and look at my budget differently. Maybe I need to seek a therapist. I keep thinking that I can handle this myself. And I really need to, as Chiquita said, get to the root of the thing and figure out how I can be healed and whole. Daily affirmations can certainly play a part in that. Most millionaires, I remember one millionaire in particular saying they start their morning with their I ams, with proclamations. And one of the ones that they said that stuck with me the most is that that individual said, I allow myself to be wealthy. Now, wealth is different than rich. Rich is money, rich is assets, rich is capital. But wealth comes with the individuals around you, the human capital being included. As Chiquita said, the networks and the connections, whether virtual, whether physical, how there's so much more that I'm pouring in, that I feel happy, that I elevate my mind. And it starts with me giving permission and grace to allow myself to be wealthy, to allow myself. Now, while I might not be living it now, once I give myself permission, I'm sure enough going to live like this thing is happening, because that's when it becomes manifested, when I start believing it. Listen, I heard a pastor say one day, when I started being a pastor, I wasn't a pastor. It's the members that made me a pastor. Leadership. You might take that job in management, but until you start leading folk and dealing with personalities and dynamics, that's what makes you an effective manager and leader. Remind yourself, I'm brilliant. I have ideas that can make money. I have ideas that can make the world different. I love and accept myself. Self-love is everything. We get caught up looking for other folks to do it to us and for us and forget that if you gotta love you first, boo, because that's where the power comes. Ooh, when I fell in love with Tami a few years ago, and I'm in my 50s. Yeah, it can happen once you allow it, once you speak it, once you affirm a thing, once you say it, and it's going to be every day. It's going to be every minute. I have affirmations around me on my computer, all over my mirror in my bathroom. So when I'm brushing my teeth, I see I am enough. Oh, that helped when I had that breakup, y'all. And he told me, you ain't nothing, it ain't gonna be nothing. Oh, I started telling myself, I am enough. And then I stopped looking for that affirmation from others. I love and I accept myself. Includes my past mistakes, includes the flaws I see in the mirror every day, includes having to rule out the judgment and hate of others. That just because they don't love Tami and they're not Team Tami, that it's okay. Because I'm more than enough for me. And on my bad day, I tap into my higher power, which says I look like them. I am part of them. And I can win in anything I do. How about that affirmation? I am a winner. And then under that put, let them watch me win. We hope this information has been helpful. Powerful day today. What we do at the Power Up. We want to thank the production team of the We Empower Network, the Power Up Show. We want to thank the resources we were able to share and those doing frontline work at the CDC and at povertyusa.org, who is a viable entity that can share statistics and information on how you can play a difference in the United States of America, dealing with those who are facing poverty and in places of need. We, as always, thank our veterans and our first responders, the medical professionals who put yourself on the front line with us coughing on you because we're hurting. And you have a family at home, yet your schooling, your education, you put all into with compassion to serve others. We thank our teachers, education professionals, all those who help the babies, and our caregivers, hospice workers, hotels, hospitals, everywhere who take care of our seniors and in between. On the Power Up, we each make a difference. Whether you're leading a book club, or maybe today you had an idea and said, you know what? I think I want to start a group on Facebook that's talking about this disease I've been following. My mom has, or I'm going with a cousin. Or maybe I want to go as far as becoming an advocate so that I grow in my knowledge in how I can make a difference. Family, that's what we need you to leave with. You have the power to make a difference, to be the difference, and you can start today. We're glad that you joined us today. There's so much more to come every week here at the Power Up. We'll see you next time.